What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, and it is time. The first Friday of the realistic rebuilds in Madden 18. I got you guys to vote on it a couple weeks ago. What team did you want to see me rebuild first? And you weren't throwing any softies, you weren't throwing any softballs, any lobbers, any worm burners at me. You gave me debatably the toughest team to rebuild to start, but I'm a man of the people. So we will be taking over the New York Jets. And for those of you that didn't tune in to the most popular rebuild series on Madden 17, what we do here in Realistic Rebuild, you're not going to see us acquire 15 first-round draft picks. You're not going to see us trade for Julio Jones or Khalil Mack. What you're going to get is the realist rebuild experience you can find on YouTube. Now, within the realm of the realism tag, you have to understand there is some maddening, we'll call it maddening, in terms of trades and stuff like that, just to make it entertaining to watch. But this year, I'm going to be dialing it down a little bit, whereas last year it seemed like we were really flipping most of the veteran players for decent draft picks, not necessarily all first rounders. We'll take a little bit more realistic approach, but it's still going to be the same format, trying to win a Super Bowl within the first 5 years of these rebuilds. If we fail to win the Super Bowl, we may revisit it at a later date, or maybe just retry it all together, very similar to how we did everything in Madden 17. We're also using realistic prospects where, all the rookies you want to see. I've already asked you on Twitter. You want to see Saquon Barkley on the Jets. You want to see Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, guys like that on the Jets. This is the only place you're going to be able to find that on YouTube. So without further ado, let's jump in. Let's see what we can do with this Jets team. It's going to be frustrating, but I think we can do it. All right, so now it's time to assess what we have here from the Jets. Everything that we do in terms of building a roster, we think 5 years in mind. If these guys aren't going to be valuable to us, if they're not going to have a roster spot within the next 5 years, we're probably not going to keep them long term. At the quarterback spot, pretty much a crapshoot. McCown, Petty, and Hackenberg. None of those guys are going to be on our team long term. I think they gave Petty normal, and Hackenberg has slow. So I mean, there's no diamond in the rough here. So we absolutely need to get someone here in the quarterback position, be it through free agency or the draft. I'm thinking we're gonna have a pretty big pick in the top 5, maybe debatably number 1. At least that's the way all the roster moves in real life have been made by the Jets. They're trying to suck for that number 1 overall pick, so we're gonna have our pick and choice of the top quarterback from college football, which is a glaring need. Look at the running backs. Matt Forte is 31, 86 overall. Powell 82, and McGuire here 71. He's a rookie, 71 with normal dev trait. That's not bad at all. I do think Powell is fairly underrated. And with a guy like Matt Forte, we'll throw him on the trade block again. We don't want to fall in the mold of flipping all our veterans for picks. If we get a first or second rounder, we're not going to flip for Matt Forte. But we'll see if we can get, I think, Matt Forte's value to a team that's trying to win if you don't have a running back. I'd say Matt Forte should fetch somewhere between a 3rd and a 5th rounder. And I really just more so want to get Bilal Powell some more looks. But it has to be the right kind of deal for us to move on from Forte. If not, we'll keep the veteran on the roster. There's our fullbacks. I don't know why we have 2 fullbacks, to be completely honest with you. But hey, look, a 74 overall rookie fullback. We'll take that because you could probably take that long term and have him be that guy that holds that roster spot. The wide receiver spot is fairly interesting. Enunwa, 25 years old, 81. I think we should hold on to him. Robbie Anderson's overpowered, 6'3", got the 90 speed. Good young wide receivers here. I can see Enunwa, Robbie Anderson, Ardarius Stewart, and Chad Hansen in particular. Guys that could certainly be fixtures. We got a low-key sleeper in Sharon Peak, height, weight, speed type player. But I would say wide receiver, we're optimistic that we can grow these guys. I'm not too upset with what we have there, especially what do we got here for dev traits? Normal. Chad Hansen is normal, I would assume. What's Enunwa got? Normal. So we got nothing good in terms of dev traits, but I do believe that's a good building point here for wide receiver. In regards to really assessing and addressing through the draft, I think I'm going to be rolling with the young guys we have here at wide receiver. Tight end, we have Safarian Jenkins and Leggett. That's 24 years old, 77. Maybe we can try to revive the career of Austin Safarian Jenkins, who there was a point in time when he was coming out of the University of Washington that he was regarded as one of the top tight ends, maybe of the last decade, at least at the college football game. So we'll see what we can do. Obviously, he had the DUI thing while he was with Tampa. Maybe try to resurrect his career here, rebuild the career of Austin Safarian Jenkins. Offensive line, not looking great. I hate when you start at a rebuild and you have to use some of your luxury picks on offensive linemen, but I think that's going to be the case here. 78 overall left tackle, Beecham. He's 28. I mean, that'll be serviceable for now, but definitely not long term. We got Carpenter here, 83 overall, our best offensive lineman. But again, he's 28 and looking forward to 5 years. He's not going to be the staple there at left guard, but he should be serviceable for the time being. He is kind of expensive. Center, again, nothing too special there. Right guard, we have Winters 79, Dozer 76. Maybe we'll try to flip one of these guys. We just signed one. Let's see what happens if we put Dozer up on the trade block, if we can get any value there. These guys play what's right. I mean, actually, we'll flip one of these guys off the trade block because we might have to move one to right tackle. But Winter, I mean, there you go. That's the guy. Brian Winters, what's his depth trait? What he has? Normal, but still 26, 79. He may be a fixture at right guard, especially if he can develop into the low 80s. That'd be serviceable enough. And then right tackle, definitely. The tackle spot's our position of needs. Left defensive end, Leonard Williams is the franchise player. He's really the only, one guy, I would say. Maybe there's two in Jamal Adams, who we're going to see in a second, that are going to be fixtures, I would figure, throughout this entire rebuild. And Leonard Williams is one. He's an absolute beast. We have Muhammad Wilkerson here, 27 years old, 83. I'm gonna kick the tires. I'm gonna kick the tires on Muhammad Wilkerson and see what potentially could we fetch for him. Just because I know Sheldon Richardson is classified as a linebacker. Best believe we're gonna move him back to a defensive lineman. That's ridiculous having him play as a linebacker. But we'll see what we can get from Muhammad Wilkerson, because plenty of value, especially if a team's looking a 3-4 team on the up. Wilkerson would definitely be a valuable target. There we go. D tackle's not looking so hot. Outside linebacker, we got Jordan Jenkins. What's he have for dev traits? Normal. I mean, work in progress. Middle linebacker, Demario Davis, Carpenter pacing. There's the rookie, Darren Lee. Did they nerf him? Still has normal dev trait. We may force him into the starting lineup so we can, kind of stockpile some XP as fast as possible. Sheldon Richardson here. Best believe you are moving back to a defensive end spot. You are not playing outside linebacker, I'll tell you that. And you're very much a 3-4 versatile. Alright, so that makes, potentially, 315, 302, 310. Let's see what happens if let's see what happens if we move Mo Wilkerson into the D tackle spot. What does that do to his overall? I mean, he's not, definitely make him, I'd say he's pretty balanced, to be honest with you. Okay, that works. A little bit of moving around there. We'll haul him out the trade block. So now our defensive line is back to looking legit as shit. Average overall of an 88. But yeah, linebacker definitely needs to grow. Jumping to the secondary, we have Mo Claiborne, Scrine, Marcus Williams. No young players, really, unfortunately. I don't know what we're going to get from Mo Claiborne. Again, another position. This is the toughest rebuild. There's a reason why. Free safety. No one there special. It's strong safety with Jamal Adams and Marcus May. We'll make Marcus May a free safety. My Gator bias. We're going to try to make it work there with Marcus May. He's very much run support type playmaker. So we have an 82 safety, and Marcus May's now our starter there, 74. Special teams, we have one of the worst kickers. I don't know how Catanzaro was employed after he cost how many games for the Cardinals last year, and Lachlan Edwards, the punter. So all in all, plenty of holes. This is going to be very, very challenging. We threw up Forte to see what we can do in terms of that. But outside of this, man, this is a through-and-through rebuild. This first year is going to be an absolute crapshoot. So let's sim a couple weeks, see what happens during the preseason. We get any offers. Maybe with how bad the AI is, we'll get a couple rookies that get cut, and we can try to sign them. And then we'll simulate through the first season and take on the first official offseason. All right, here we go. As we get ready to begin season 1 of the Jets rebuild, we take a quick dive into free agency. Stevie T, good, real underrated nose tackle from USC, and Eddie Jackson, the safety. We decided to add these guys off practice squads. The only real notable move we made was we did end up releasing Josh McCown, which freed up $6 million in cap, which is exactly what you wanted. You were trying to lose. There's no other way to really set up our roster like we're trying to lose. I feel because Jet fans have already seen the Bryce Petty experience, even though I was a fan of him at Baylor, why not just throw Christian Hackenberg in there? Either he's going to surprise everyone and play well, and we might not have to invest our first-round pick in a quarterback, or he's going to play so bad that we will get that number 1 overall pick, and we'll be able to get our quarterback of our dreams. We weren't unable to flip Matt Forte for any picks, so he will start out as our lead back with Powell in hand as a nice little 1-2 combo. Wide receivers will go Anunwa, Anderson, Stewart, and we'll slide in Chad Hansen here because Lucky Whitehead's a fucking idiot. Tight end will go Safarian Jenkins. He's probably the number one guy that I'm kind of hoping, looking at him on face value right now, you're not too certain what he's going to bring to you. Hopefully we can develop him into a serviceable tight end, and that's another position we're not going to have to worry about. As far as the offensive line, not looking so hot. I mean, losing Mangold and guys like that, staples from past, is tough. We did move Dozer from right guard to right tackle to see what that offers. It's a 4-point upgrade over who was slated to be the starter here in Brandon Shell. Defensive end, we got Leonard Williams, Sheldon Richardson, and then at nose tackle will be Muhammad Wilkerson. So a little bit of an undersized nose tackle. I'm going to make Stevie T here the top depth so we can see if we can develop something there. But our front three is looking good. Outside of that, little worried about our linebacking core. I'm going to make sure that Darren Lee gets some snaps here as a starter. It's a 3-4, so we'll have Demario Davis and Darren Lee on the field at all time, but really want to try to develop Darren Lee as well. And then at outside linebacker, we have Lorenzo Muldoon. Very worried. I'm going to be completely honest, very worried with our linebacking core. Hopefully, at least two of these guys, I'm going to go with Darren Lee and Jordan Jenkins, can develop into starters long term. Look at the secondary. We have Mo Claiborne, Buster Scrine, and Marcus Williams. Again, very weak. I don't even know if more Claiborne is going to be in our long-term goal, long-term plan. But safety's looking decent. We got Marcus May, Florida Gator bias, and then we got Jamal Adams with this superstar development trade here as in 82. So with that being said, guys, we're going to sim all the way to the end of year number 1. See what we can get. Sometimes we stop at the midseason point, but here clearly in the early stages, we're not seeing much at the midway point. We don't plan on switching quarterback or anything like that. So we're going to sim all the way to year's end and then see what happens. So we're going to go with 7 wins because that's the lowest that we could get here. Even that is going to be a reach. I'm going to say now, bold prediction, 2 wins. 2 wins for the Jets. Let's see what happens. Let's go. All right, so we're at the midseason point. I haven't even checked the record. We're gonna keep all of that anonymous, but we will have the negotiation period where essentially I'm just gonna tell you what players we're gonna extend, what players we're gonna let go. Right now, Sheldon Richardson, I didn't even notice he had quick development, but we're definitely gonna hold on to him. He's 26, 88 overall with quick dev. We got Noonweiss 25, 81, especially with a team like the Jets. Debatably he's the kind of play you might want to let hit free agency and see if you can bring him back once he hits open market on a lower value, but I don't know necessarily how that is going to work here in Madden 18, because in Madden 17 that was the case. You let all your free agents go to the open market and then you could bring them back on less money. But these two guys were absolutely going to be re-signing. So did everyone else. I mean, I was thinking about Safarian Jenkins, but I didn't even notice that slow development trait, which kind of makes sense. But at 24.77 overall, I think what's best with him is let him hit the market and see then let the market dictate itself. Outside of that, man, not a whole lot here. So I will be resigning Anunwa, and we will be signing Sheldon Richardson. We're not just gonna, show you all the negotiating process because that takes an extra 2-3 minutes. But these are the two guys we'll be returning. And next up, let's jump right to the end of the season and get this dumpster fire over with. Jump into the draft, jump into free agency. All right, here we are at the end of year number 1. Oh, that's a team that's lacking confidence. 2-14, just as I kind of called. I didn't see, 2 to 3. What did I say? 2 wins or 3 wins max. I can't. Oh, look at the Philadelphia Eagles. We didn't even touch the roster, and the Madden is showing love to my Philadelphia Eagles. But look, are we worse? Leave it to the 49ers to somehow to be able to fleece us out of the number 1 pick. God, like they even have a decent roster. What the hell, man? Well, we're the second worst team in the NFL. Hopefully there's a coin toss, something like that. But let's look at the final stats here real quick of our team, and then we'll do the quick awards. That'll be time to shoot into the offseason. Christian Hackberg on the year, 3,300 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 19 picks, got sacked 70 times. I don't think I saw that at all last year in Madden 17 and the rebuild. So why not start out rebuild 1 of Madden 18 with a all-time personal low, 17 sacks for Christian Hackenberg. Running the ball, 900 yards, 3 touchdowns from Matt Forte, 5 touchdowns from Bilal Powell. Receiving, our Darius Stewart, that's a pretty damn good year for the rookie. 74 catches, 990 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Safarian Jenkins, who we did decide to let hit the market, 64 catches, almost 600 yards, and a touchdown. Robbie Anderson, 600 yards and a touchdown. Anunwa, 800 yards and 2 touchdowns. We already re-signed him, so he is here long term. I guess if you look at who's going to be on the roster next year, Anunwa and Stewart for sure. I'm very interested to see what we can get his overall. I think he was a 74. That should bring him up to the high 70s for sure. On the offensive line, oh gee, well, Caleb Carpenter. I assume the tackles are still good. Look at that. 37 sacks given up by Kelvin Beachum, 20 by Dozer. I mean, good guard play, I guess, between James Carpenter, and Brian Winters. Only 1 sack given up from the interior, but that is horrific. Absolutely horrific. Tackle spot needs a complete overhaul. On the defensive side of things, 151 tackles from Darren Lee, 105 from Jamal Adams, the rookie. Looking at sacks, we got 10.5 from Sheldon Richardson, 9.5 from Leonard Williams, only 2 from Richardson, Williams, and 2 from Muhammad Wilkerson. But I mean, he is at the nose tackle spot. Not really worried by that. And for picks, 2 for Jamal Adams, 2 for Marcus Williams, 2 for Demario Davis, 2 for Mo Claiborne, 1 for Jordan Jenkins, and 1 for Darren Lee. So all in all, pretty much outside of maybe our Darius Stewart, who I was already kind of hyping up before we even jumped into the year, no one really surprised us. It's a little disappointing that maybe Safarian Jacobs or someone like that didn't take off. But looking at the MVP, it went to Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. No love for my Philadelphia Eagles. Not one guy. They won the league and didn't get any recognition whatsoever. That's awesome to see. Coach of the Year went to Doug Peterson. I guess that counts. Let's take a look at the AFC just to see if we have any Jets showing up anywhere. I'm going to guess not. Maybe Rookie of the Year. Let's see here. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Any Jets? Our Darius Stewart, almost 1,000 yards. It's only good enough to get him the 6th spot. But I guess we'll take it. Jamal Adams coming at number 2 behind Myles Garrett. That is somewhat fair. QB. Okay, I'm not even going to check these, man. We're just going to skim because I don't think there's a chance in hell any of our players found their way onto any of these individual player lists. If they did, I'd be absolutely shocked. So yeah, we didn't show up, but hey, we got 2 players. We got Jamal Adams and our Darius Stewart showing some love. Let's get the hell out of this damn season with our number 2 pick overall. And let's jump into free agency and see how far we can really take this damn team. Alright, now it's time to look at the free agency, available free agents. We've done a little bit of business here. There's some top names, some names I'm trying to avoid a little bit. Especially when you look at the quarterback spot. I really want to get our franchise quarterback. I think, debatably you might have that in Garoppolo or Bridgewater, but I think we'll save those potential options for another video. At the running back spot, very intriguing option here in Jeremy Hill. I would assume he's going to be a familiar face long term. But again, I think what we have at running back, in terms of our salary cap, we might be able to look at a better option long term here at the running back spot. I mean, debatably, like I said, they're at that age 25, at the end of a 5-year, he's just going to start to slow down once our team becomes competitive. That's kind of where I'm viewing this as. Whereas in some rebuilds, I'm going to expect that we're going to be competitive before really the final 2 years. Whereas in this one, we're probably going to be going right up to the deadline of year 5 before we're competitive. At the wide receiver spot, though, we did try to throw a bit in here on Dante Moncrief, but the Kansas City Chiefs will not be denied. There's some familiar faces. Josh Gordon, Philly Brown, Taylor Gabriel, Fitzgerald. I mean, very surprising, going to Dallas. But I think Marquise Lee would be an interesting option to add in there with Anunwa and our Darius Stewart. We have yet to spend our XP, so we have to see what their overalls are going up to. But I think Marquise Lee can be a legit wide receiver 2 here in our offense for whatever quarterback we decide to bring in. At the tight end spot, again, pretty interesting option here. Cam Brady is 27, he's 87, but especially when you have a young quarterback, you definitely want a good safety net. But we're going with Trey Burton. His stats are incredibly overpowered. We talked about it in one of my earlier Madden videos where I was hyping up the sleepers, the top 10 sleepers in this year's game. Trey Burton usually is really, really good, so I'm really going to sign him here and see. Plus, he's like middle of the park. Costs about $5-6 million less than anyone else. Offensive line is incredibly tough. Usually the first year of free agency, it is kind of tough bringing in, guys like that. But with how bad my offensive line is, we have to splurge a little bit. We're getting a potential long-term option here. Greg Robinson, who has been a bust for the most part, but we absolutely need a left tackle, and we had to move on from Kelvin Beachum. We gave up almost 40 sacks last year, so we're going to see if Greg Robinson can be a little bit better. Right guard, we'll leave that as is. At center here, we have Zach Fulton. He's 26, 78 overall. I just don't want to spend and have to invest a lot of draft picks here in the sexy positions, if you will. So we'll sign up for medium, middle of the park money, because usually by year 2 or 3, at least in rebuilds in years past, that's where some juicy free agents come available. At right tackle here, we have John Greco, who we're going to sign, or hopefully we'll be able to sign to a 1-year deal and flip him to the right tackle spot, just kind of as a band-aid until we can find some long-term cover there. Defensively, we're looking fine here on the defensive line. That's looking nice. And outside linebacker, I mean, the Dolphins are not going to be denied here on Shaq Barrett, who is another familiar face in the free agency pool. However, I'm going to see what happens with Coney Ely. See if that sticks. Not really a traditional outside linebacker. Kind of got moved to that role after he got traded from the Panthers to the Patriots. But I'm going to see what he can do. We're not going to ask him to drop back into coverage a whole lot. It's going to be intriguing. Middle linebacker will stay as is. I think we'll get our top depth here. In A.J. Klein. I mean, we had an option to get a familiar face of Mark Barron, but I think Klein offers us the nice little stability that we need in the middle. Right outside linebacker, no one really attractive, to be honest with you, so we're going to have to definitely try to hit someone there in the draft. Secondary, again, not so great. I'm opting not to bring back Mo Claiborne. I mean, we could bring back both these guys on 1-year deals, but I don't know, man. It's just, do we have another Band-Aid, or should we just, it's one of those things where we're trying to not come out and outright say we're trying to lose. But, I mean, that is tying up decent. We have, you know what, might as well. Let's see if we can bring back Mo Claiborne for 1 more season. We'll give him, that should be enough. $5 million over 1 year. I guess the Bucs really want him here. So we'll have a couple mercenaries. There we go. We have a couple mercenaries, if you will, in Claiborne and Dre Kirkpatrick in the secondary because our corners are fairly weak. The safety spot, we have Marcus May and we have Jamal Adams. So outside of that, we just need depth. Kicker and punter will stay as is. So no overly flashy signings, but I think they're the kind of moves that we need. And I would say the headliner of this class could debatably be Coney Ely or Marquise Lee. So that being said, we'll confirm these signings and then jump into the draft. Alright, so here are our signings. We got Marquise Lee, Trey Burton, John Greco, Zach Fulton, Mo Claiborne, Dre Kirkpatrick, A.J. Klein, and some depth players. So we did miss out on bringing in left tackle Greg Robinson and outside linebacker Coney Ely, which would have been debatably, 2 guys that would probably fit in our top 5 signings. But it is what it is. Now it's time for the draft, and what are we going to do with that number 2 overall pick? Alright, so from years past, last year, only on special occasions do we show off the unedited draft class, but this is my first official one. We're doing it during EA Access, and we fucking nailed it. We got this quarterback in the first round, superstar developmental trait, 78 overall. Obviously, we're going to tinker with the attributes, but he will still be 78 base overall. In the second round, we got a left tackle, absolute biggest need. We got a 79 overall left tackle from Georgetown with quick developmental trait. We get a running back that's only a 71 overall here in the third round, but 98 speed. Mother of God. That is an absolute burner. We'll find a way to get him involved. In the fourth round, we got a Frank McKee, the center, quick developmental trait. We'll find a way to make him work. We got a D tackle here in the fifth. That's a 70. We got this guy, Stacy Adibi, the corner in the fifth round, 73 overall. Best believe he has that superstar developmental trait. Let's go. We got a 71 overall center and then a 68 overall middle linebacker. I had to pass on him. He was a 7.5 grade in the 7th round. So best believe we jumped all over that. So when we come back, we'll show all the real life prospects and then we're going to jump into year number. All right, here we go with the draft class recap. We have decided to let history repeat itself at the Jets. Long time ago, they got a young heralded quarterback from the University of Southern California named Mark Sanchez. The Sanchez, things didn't work out, but too good to pass up on a storyline in the Big Apple. They have gone again at the number 2 pick, selected another promising quarterback from USC, and that man's name is Sam Darnold. We're able to hit on left tackle in the second round. Braden Smith, a lot of people are comparing him to, a Lane Johnson athletic freak type. So we're going to be seeing what he can provide for us at left tackle. In the third round, we got Tony Brooks James, the running back from Oregon, regarded as one of the fastest players in college football, and his 98 speed reflects that. We get Frank Ragnow, who's a top 3 center in this year's draft class, in the 4th round, 76 overall. With his 6'6 frame, it does provide us with versatility to move him all around the offensive line as we see fit. And lastly, the only other custom player is going to be Duke Dawson, the superstar development trait corner from the University of Florida here with a 73 overall. We're going to try to find ways to get him in on nickel packages as a rookie. So with that being said, guys, let's jump right into year number 2 and see if we can get any progress. All right, here we are getting ready for season number 2 after a very, very good draft class. I'm thinking optimism is high here in the Jets organization, at least to build upon the 2 wins from last year. Sam Darnold now in the lineup once he gets the scheme fit, up to an 80 overall as a rookie. Can't ask for anything better than that. Our running back core will still be Forte Powell and the speedster Tony Brooks-James. Looking at fullback, will stay as is. Wide receiver looking much improved with Marquise Lee, Quincy Enunwa, and Ardarius Stewart as our main dogs. The tight end spot, we have free agency signing Trey Burton, along with Jordan Leggett for a nice young combination. Offensive line, second round draft pick Braden Smith will be starting as a rookie, 79 overall. Very uncertain about how that's going to play out, as he does have the most important job on the team now, and that is protecting the franchise QB, Mr. Sam Darnold. We have James Carpenter at left guard. At center, we're going with Fulton, we signed in free agency. Even though Ragnow is here, you know what? We're actually going to make Ragnow the starter as a rookie. Has quick developmental trait. Get him the XP early. Fulton now can just provide top depth here, especially for everywhere in the interior. So we'll go with him backing up the left guard as well and the right guard. So some versatility for a medium price, but actually fairly cheap free agency signing in Fulton. We have winners at right guard, and at right tackle, we're going with John Greco, who we signed on a 1-year deal. Looking at left defensive end, Leonard Williams, Sheldon Richardson, and Mr. Muhammad Wilkerson makes up our front 3 that is going to be looking to wreak havoc once again. In the linebacking core, definitely, I couldn't find any rookies that really appealed to me here. Didn't have any big free agents after we lost out on Coney Ely, so it's going to be Jordan Jenkins, Darren Lee, and AJ Klein, along with Mr. Lorenzo Muldoon for a shaky linebacker core at best. In our secondary, we have Mo Claiborne, Drake Kirkpatrick, both on 1-year mercenary type deals. But then we got Duke Dawson, our superstar developmental trait corner, who we drafted in the 5th round, will be our starting nickel. Free safety, we have Marcus May, who's now up to a 78 overall. And then we have Jamal Adams, 85. So a young safety core that's developing, certainly on the rise. All in all, guys, I'm going to say this team's looking pretty damn good compared to where we were last season. So let's jump right in, go all the way to the end of this year, and see what happens at the end of 2 years of 5. So we might as well start here in the midseason point with contract negotiations. We're going to make sure we lock down Leonard Williams at all costs, because as of right now, even with the strong draft class, he still is the franchise player. I would say on the defensive side of the ball, maybe as a team as a whole. Forte is going to be gone. Greco was a short-term option. Carpenter, I think with a guy like James Carpenter, we may let it hit free agency with him and see if we can bring him back on a cheaper deal. He's at 29. He's probably going to regress. Same goes with Powell. Claiborne and Kirkpatrick, they know what they were. They were 1-year deals with the strong wide receiver class. I think next year, I have a gut feeling, Robbie Anderson, another dude we may just want to let hit free agency. Outside of that, not much there, fellas. I mean, you know what? If we can get Robbie Anderson under $5 million over 2 years, that's what we're going to do. But outside of that, pretty much only guy we want to negotiate in season is going to be Leonard. All right, here we are at the end of year number 2, and I will say I did sneak a peek of our record at the midway point. We were 1-7, and the guys battled to finish 7-9, which I don't know if it's necessarily a good or a bad thing, because we want to try to get the lower pick would be what would be best. We still get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like a fringe top 10 pick. I know for sure running back and corner are the 2 big position of needs that we want to try to address. But 7-9 all in all, I mean, you don't want to continue to suck if we believe we have our franchise quarterback on the roster here in Sam Darnold. Let's take a quick look here at the stats and get ready for the offseason. And I think year 3, we may have a chance to contend probably for a wild card spot. Because you got to know, at least the things are changing in the AFC East with Tom Brady, and hopefully the Patriots starting to slow down a little bit. So as a rookie, Sam Darnold, 4,200 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. But the keynote here is only 33 sacks. A year ago, Hackenberg, as our starter, got sacked 70 times. So offensive line and better quarterback play all around is promising going forward. In terms of running the ball, 1,000 yards for Forte, 11 touchdowns. Good final year from him. I mean, maybe we look at bringing him back on a short-term deal. Powell had 10 rushing touchdowns as well. Darnold, 270 yards and 2 touchdowns. In terms of receiving, Anunwa, 91 catches, 900 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Marquise Lee coming over as a free agency signing from the Jags, 900 yards, just short of 1,000, 7 touchdowns. Our Darius Stewart has been a monster for us, 70 catches, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Trey Burton, coming as a free agent signing, the tight end spot, was able to give us 50 catches, almost 500 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So it's acceptable from him. And Forte, always a nice little dual threat out of the back. Looking at our players here, I really want to see how our rookies did. So we got Ragnow, played at center, no sacks given up. I mean, it still is pretty ridiculous, the numbers of sacks that go to the tackles. Last year was really unbalanced. 23 sacks given up by the rookie Braden Smith. I guess we could just, attribute that to the learning curve. That still feels, a little too heavy. John Greco, as a mercenary at right tackle, did a serviceable job, only giving up 3 sacks. And on the defensive side of the ball, 124 tackles from Darren Lee, 123 from Jamal Adams. On the sacks front, 10.5 from Sheldon Richardson, 8.5 from Leonard Williams, who he did extend big money to. I think it was only actually $40 or $50 million. So that's a bargain for a guy that's fringe 90, young, under 25, and superstar dev trait. 6.5 sacks here from Jordan Jenkins. We got 3 picks from Will Claiborne, 3 from Jamal Adams, 3 from Drake Kirkpatrick. So again, maybe interesting if we want to try to sign one of those guys and bring him back. Jenkins with 2, May, rookie Duke Dawson with 1, Darren Lee, and Evans there. So defensively, I'm not gonna lie, they played pretty damn good, to be honest with you. Looking at the season awards, yearly awards, Phillip Rivers got himself the MVP. Brady's still kicking along here in the league. No real surprising names there. Coach of the year went to Griffin Murphy, aka Fake Belichick. Now let's just skim through these, see if we get any Jets that we can talk about. I'll try to go slow enough that if you want to actually pay attention, you can see. So Sam Darnold got Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is going to be nice for his XP. We already see him as an 83, and we haven't even spent it. I don't know how that even fucking happens, but we'll take that for Offensive Rookie of the Year. On defensive side, we got Duke Dawson coming in number 4. Not bad for a 5th round pick. He's already up to a 77 overall, which is exactly what I want to see. QB went to Brady. Jets. Matt Forte coming in as number 7 running back in the AFC. We had no wide receivers. Offensive lineman, none. D lineman, none. Linebacker, none. DB. Oh, I thought Jamal Adams might have had a shot there. No left to the kicker. But there are a couple awards. Not bad. I'm happy. So that being said, guys, we're going to sim just a quick little check-in on the Super Bowl, and then we're going to jump into the offseason. What? Here's a quick look at the 2018 Super Bowl. Dallas 61, New England 55. That makes no damn sense. 5 touchdowns from Brady, 500 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions from Dak. I'm hoping just because this is EA access, that's why that's looking as ridiculous as it is. Let's jump into free agency. What the fuck, man? All right, here we are quickly looking at free agents. This is going to be always the part of the rebuilds that I want to try to find a way to quickly get it done with, as well as showing you some of the top names that are there. Quarterback, we're fine. Drew Brees is there once again. Running back's intriguing, especially with TJ Yeldon. He was a beast for us in rebuilds last year, but I really want to take a gamble, maybe at looking at a running back in the draft. Looking at wide receiver, I think we're fine with Marquise Lee, Anunwa, and our Darius Stewart. Tight end, we're fine, even though there's Delaney Walker. In terms of the offensive line, there is some interesting options, but I am just going to go at the right tackle spot here. Looks like a rookie, B. Roy, 23 years old, 78. We're going to make sure we can outbid him. I like the look of this to continue to build up a young core of offensive linemen. On the defensive side, we're looking pretty decent here. We could get some depth later on, but I'm going to splurge here on Denzel Perryman. I've been a big fan of him ever since he came out of Miami. And I think pairing him in there with Darren Lee is going to be a very formidable middle linebacking core for our 3 linebackers. We got Preston Smith here as an outside linebacker. Linebacker was really one of our bigger worries last season, and I figured if we just throw enough money at it right now, it's looking like it's going to go away. In the secondary, we did lose our mercenaries in Drake Kirkpatrick and Mo Claiborne. Dawson is developing very nicely, so maybe we can try to hit on another corner in the draft, but I want to try to sign at least one. There's some decent names here. Ross Cockrell's 28, Joe Hayden, Eric Rowe, but I think P.J. Williams is a guy I kind of want to take a gamble on. It looks like there's not a huge market for him, so we'll try to add that. Safeties, we're looking fine here. We have one of the better young safety tandems in the league. Do we need a kicker? No, we're looking fine there. So let's see if we can lock these guys down and get ready for the draft. All right, guys. Not too often do we get to see back-to-back drafts like this. I don't know if it's EA access. This is not the final build. Look at this draft class. It's not hard. I mean, we busted on the last pick, but it's just coming too damn easy. We needed a running back, no problem. 79 overall, normal dev. Needed a tight end depth, cool. I mean, 76 slow dev in the second round. Third round corner, Lewis Stewart, 78 overall. Got the slow dev, still fine with it. 78 overall corner in the third round. Oh, left guard, all right, still just draft with high strength. 78 overall in the fourth round. And this here is probably the best pick we've had to date. Curry Scuda, outrageous name. I've had a bad history of drafting D tackles. Quick development trait. 77 overall in the fifth round. We're able to get a 71 overall left tackle here in the sixth. And then we just took a height, weight, speed guy at wide receiver. Trying to take a gamble there. But back-to-back, just awesome draft classes. We're going to modify these guys up and get ready for your number. Alright, so we made a couple modifications. Didn't edit every single player, but first we added Mike Weber, very talented running back from the University of Ohio State. Debatably will be the top running back from the 2018, or well, it'll be the 2019 draft class. We left this Corey Stuber, tight end for Florida State, as is. Going to be a fairly weak draft class at tight end in 2019. We got Quentin Meeks from Stanford here. He's going to be an absolute baller. We kept Meyer here. It's the same. We got Benito Jones, the D tackle from Ole Miss. This draft class is going to be absolutely stacked at D tackle. I didn't want to bust, in a fifth round, Ed Oliver, Rashad Gary, Christian Wilkins yet. But Benito Jones, still a very talented defensive tackle and very good scheme fit for a 3-4. But back-to-back, incredible drafts. Maybe we have a shot at making the playoffs here with all these young guns and some good free agency signings. Let's jump right into year number 3. All right, so before we jump into year number 3 of 5, let's take a look at where our roster is at very quickly. So Sam Darnold up to an 85 overall after being the offensive player of the year for the rookies in the AFC. So it looks like we got ourselves one hell of a QB for the future. At running back, Mike Weber, the first rounders here, as well as the 98 speed Tony Brooks James as a change of pace back. Fullback is there. Wide receivers look like Marquise Lee, Anunwa, and Ardarius Stewart. So very good, solid combination there. Stewart's been balling out for us. Tight end, we have Trey Burton, Stuber, and Leggett. So some good youth there with Trey Burton. Offensive line, Braden Smith up to an 81. We got George Myrer, draft pick from last year, the rookie, 79. At center, we have Ragnow, a pick from the year before, at 80. At right guard, we still have old man Brian Winters, old in relation to still being on the roster. And at right tackle, free agent signing Bradley Roy with a 79. So O-line, not where they want to be, but certainly room to grow. Defensively, we're looking sick. Leonard Williams is a 91. Sheldon Richardson is a 91. And Muhammad Wilkerson is an 86. Benito Jones there. I think that's a good spot because it looks like Wilkerson is definitely on the down in terms of his overall and progression. And Benito Jones hopefully will be able to develop into his eventual replacement. Linebacking core, Jordan Jenkins is a 77. That is serviceable. Middle linebackers, we're going to be pairing Denzel Perryman and Darren Lee. I like the look of that. Right outside linebacker, we have Preston Smith. So 2 new free agency signings starting for us in Preston Smith and Denzel Perryman. Our secondary, a work in progress. We have PJ Williams, who we signed in free agency. Duke Dawson, a great pick from a year ago. And Quentin Meeks here, now a 77. So definitely trending in the upwards direction. Free safety, Marcus Mays now sitting at a 79. And look at this. Jamal Adams already up to a 91 overall. This guy is a legit stud, reminding me of Jalen Ramsey last year in Madden 17 with the Jags. So we're looking pretty damn good. Playoffs? Maybe? We're going to have to wait and see. Let's jump. All right, here we are at the end of Season 3. And you know when you see the practice squad players there, you don't get the result you wanted. 7-8 on the year for the Jets. Isn't that what we had last year, to be honest with you? Were we 7-8? So probably 7-8-1, I would guess. If I had to. 7-8-1. 7-9, I guess. Okay, cool. Thanks for that clarification there. Disappointing, but I still feel like we're trending in the upward direction. Let's look at our final stats here. Sam Darnold on the year, 4,200 yards, 26 touchdowns, 20 picks. So the turnovers are a little bit worrisome there from our star quarterback, or so we thought. Running the ball, Mike Weber as a rookie, 970 yards, 8 touchdowns. We get 11 touchdowns here from the speed back. So once again, Madden 17 to Madden 18, your backup running back loves to just, red zone vulture your TDs away from your starter. Nunwa, 84 catches, almost 900 yards and 5 touchdowns. We get 1,000 yards again, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for our Ardarius Stewart. 933 and 3 from Marquise Lee, who may be kind of considered a bust. Has yet to break 1,000 yards, I believe, since we paid him decent money as a free agent. Burton, 73 catches, 800 yards, and 5 touchdowns is nice. On the defensive side of things, 139 tackles from Denzel Perryman, monster. We got 11 sacks, Sheldon Richardson, 7.5 Preston Smith, 4.5 Jenkins, 4 for Williams, 3.5 for Wilkerson here. Duke Dawson, 5 picks, 4 picks Perryman, 4 picks Marcus May, 3 picks Jamal Adams, and a couple dudes there with 1 interception. I guess for awards, this is an area we probably can be a little bit quicker. We'll just look at MVP, individual awards. Yeah. Tom Brady got the MVP, and Coach of the Year went to Dan Quinn. God, I gotta stay with it. Any Jets? Let's see if any Jets made any of these things. Denzel Perryman came at number 10 for Defensive Player of the Year. Mike Weber, number 3 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Stuber, the backup tight end, number 10 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Quentin Meeks coming in at number 5. QB, no love. Running back, no love. Wide receiver, no love. Offensive lineman, no love. D lineman, we got Sheldon Richardson coming in at number 9. Linebacker, Denzel Perryman at number 9. Defensive back, Duke Dawson at number 10. So I will take that. We're going to simulate to the Super Bowl, see what happens there, and get ready as we head into year number 4. Hopefully we can get a quick look here at the Super Bowl in year number 3. Patriots made 3 straight Super Bowls, but luckily the Detroit Lions were able to knock them off 31-28. Fucking Patriots. All right, looking at free agents quickly, couple big names here. We got Chris Jones, who I personally believe was cursed in Madden 17. Keanu Neal, but we're absolutely set at safety. We got Sterling Shepard, who we're trying to go in on. Maybe he will be the difference maker we need at wide receiver. Akeem Talib, like safeties are off the chart. You got Cravens, Larry Tunsil's a nice bid, but we're looking here at Sterling Shepard, Kamale Carrera, because I haven't been happy with how Darren Lee's been developing. We got a kicker. We're going to try to re-sign Jenkins. We got a punter. Savage God might be making his return as our backup, and then we got a fullback here. But I feel confident that we should be able to hopefully land at least Sterling Shepard as we get ready for hopefully another big draft. 3 for 3, baby. No other way to put it unless things get past. Either I'm a freaking drafting or it's real easy this year. I mean, the top end was good. We got a left outside linebacker, 78 overall, normal dev. Second round, 77 middle linebacker, quick dev. Third round, 73 DN. I took a shot in the dark. Didn't even scout him. I'll take that. And then in the 4th round, corners, which was my Achilles heel last year. I got a 77 overall corner, quick development trade. That's 3 drafts in a row. I've got a stud corner after the 3rd round. Let's edit these guys up, see what prospects we have, and see what we can do in. All right, we've decided to make it Troy Dye and Shaq Quarterman, 2 of the top young linebackers in college football today, as our 2 acquisitions. Troy Dye, a tackle machine for Oregon. Shaq Quarterman going to be pairing with Denzel Perryman, both University of Miami linebackers, both been regarded as the mini Ray Lewis, and we've modified our 4th round corner to Sean Wade, one of the top recruits, young guns in college football at the cornerback spot for Ohio State. Getting ready for year number 4, another stacked draft class. Let's go and get it. All right, here we go. Getting ready for year number 4. Might as well be that time where we take a quick look at the roster and how it is shaped up. We have 2 more years to possibly do this thing. I don't want to fail, as this is a tremendously talented roster. Same down on the quarterback, now up to, well, stayed in 88 after a pretty disappointing season last year. Savage God is backing him up. Running back Mike Weber only got a +1 to an 81. Hopefully he can continue to develop a little bit there. At the wide receiver spot, we added Sterling Shepard in free agency to pair with Marquise Lee, Ardarius Stewart, and Quincy Enunwa. Decent wide receivers. Maybe Shepard can be that game changer that we need. Tight end stays the same with Burton, Stuber, and Leggett. Offensive line, Braden Smith up to an 84, so developing into a very serviceable left tackle. 81 overall left guard. Center's 82. Right guard, I guess you could say, could be improved upon. And at right tackle, Bradley Roy sitting at an 80. Overall, this offensive line is more than serviceable in my opinion. Defensively, Leonard Williams to pair with Sheldon Richardson and Muhammad Wilkerson. That was looking pretty damn terrifying still, even though they're getting a little bit up there in age. Linebacking core looking much improved. We're going to go with Troy Dye as our starter. We also get to pair that with Denzel Perryman, Shaq Quarterman as our middle linebackers. Very excited to see how that pans out. Right outside linebacker, Preston Smith. Secondary is Duke Dawson, Meeks, Williams, and Sean Wade. Again, come on. These guys need to develop and get into the 80s for the love of God. Free safety Marcus May is an 80, and Jamal Adams is sitting here with a 92. That's bad news. That is the best name. How am I just seeing that right now? Kendrick Bad News. The fuck? Alright, that being said, guys, that is our roster. Still hoping we can get some of these guys to develop. Playoffs this year, maybe? Talking about playoffs? Let's see what happens. Let's sim to the end of year number 4. Bad news. Fuck, man. Alright, here we are at the end of year number 4, and it's looking like another failed attempt to try to make the playoffs. 9-7, the damn Patriots. Okay, I need to check this real quick before we even do anything. Is Tom Brady still playing for the Patriots? No, but they have Carson Palmer doing goddamn damage. At least we're trending in the upward direction as we get ready for the all-or-nothing 5th and final year. Let's take a look at our stats on the year. Sam Darnold, 4,200 passing yards, 32 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So certainly a progression from years past. I'm looking at Mike Weber, the running back there, 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns. Brooks James here, Robin, 12 touchdowns. The vulture himself, mother of God. In terms of receiving, 87 yards, 1,100 yards, and 87 catches, 1,100 yards, and 7 touchdowns for Sterling Shepard. So paying dividends for a big money signing. Marquise Lee has been a bust, say that. Noon, 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Trey Burton, 738 and 9. That's not bad. What happened with our Darius Stewart, though? All right. Note to self, our Darius Stewart should be the 3rd wide receiver. The defensive side of things, 137 tackles from Denzel Perryman. We got 15 and a half sacks, 10 tackles for loss for Leonard Williams. 12 and a half sacks, 19 tackles for loss from Sheldon Richardson. We got 6 sacks from rookie Troy Dye. To go with that. In terms of the secondary, 3 picks Shaq Quarterman as a rookie, 3 for PJ Williams, 2 for Perryman, 2 for May, 2 for Meeks, 1 for Jamal Adams, who also had 91 tackles. Looking at the awards very quickly, MVP went to Aaron Rodgers. Coach of the Year went to this random guy. Offensive Player of the Year, any Jets. All right, Sam Darnold coming in at number 9. Defensive Player of the Year, Perriman coming in at number 5. Offensive Rookie of the Year, we have no one. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Troy Dye at number 3. Shaq Cornerman at number 6. QB, Darnold at number 4. Running back, nothing. Wide receiver, Anunwa at number 6. Shepard at 9. Offensive line, we haven't have anyone yet in the offensive line category. Leonard Williams and Sheldon Richardson both getting there. For defensive lineman, Perryman at linebacker, and a defensive back. No love to anyone on our team. That is disappointing. We're just going to rock and roll. Let's check to see what happens at the Super Bowl and get ready for an all-or-nothing year number. A quick look here at the Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks bodied the Jacksonville Jaguars 33-7. At least the Patriots didn't make another Super Bowl, so that is good. That's hopefully we see the Jets there in the end of year number. All right, for year 5 free agents, it's time to go buck wild. As much money as we possibly could spend. So we're going to try to get Trent Williams here. He's 92. He's up there in age. We already have our left tackle, so I'm going to move him to guard, which is what you usually try to do in most cases with older tackles. Older tackles. You want outside of the man. We're going to see if we can get a Keep Talib here on a 1-year deal. Absolute mercenary. He's so slow, but hopefully the sim will give him the benefit of the doubt. John Ross and Joe Mixon, cheese. That's just absolute cheese right there. Maybe that's what we need to get into the damn Super Bowl. Let's see. Hopefully these signs are enough. Let's jump into the draft, see what happens there, and get ready for year. All right, for a quick draft recap, it was about time. We got 4 of 5. We still got some good prospects. A 78 overall right guard in the first round and a 73 safety in the 5th. But you can't be perfect all the time, so about time that my draft leads let us down. Still a solid draft class, though. Right guard was probably the one position need we wanted to if you were going longer, but we are going to slide Trent Williams there for this year. So year 5, let's get that Super Bowl. All right, here we go. Year number 5. Here is going to be our starting roster after 5 seasons of building the Jets from absolute shit, worst team in the league, to what I think is an incredibly overpowered team. So we got Sam Darnold, 89 overall at quarterback. Mike Weber here, 82 overall running back. I guess we didn't get Joe Mixon. That sucks. Looking at the wide receivers, we got Sterling Shepard. We got the John Ross cheese. Marquise Lee, our Darius Stewart. Tight end, still Trey Burton holding on. Trent Williams, we're going to keep him at left tackle because he's still 92. We have 82 guard, 83 center Ragnow, 80 overall right guard, and then 86 overall Braden Smith, moving to maybe perhaps the more natural right tackle spot for him. Defense is still 92 overall Leonard Williams, 88 Sheldon Richardson, and 82 overall Benito Jones. The Muhammad Wilkerson era is done. Linebacking core is Troy Dye. We got Perryman and Quarterman here in the middle. And then Preston Smith. So 80s all around here, the linebacking core. Secondary, we got, some guys that haven't really taken off as much as I'd want. But Meeks is an 80. Dawson's now an 82. And we brought in Aqib Talib as an absolute mercenary. But I'm really worried about that 80 speed, 84 acceleration. Like I said, when I signed him, hopefully the sim takes some mercy here. We have Mays an 81, and then Jamal Adams, a 93 overall, one of the top players in the NFL. Year 5, let's at least make the playoffs, Fuck. Fuck, man. All right, first rebuild, maybe we found our first cursed franchise. The Colts were it last year. Look at this. 9-7 again. The Patriots run the damn East. Doesn't matter what you do. Our team is OP as shit. Like this team right now, I'm going to say probably between 87, like a low of an 87, high of like a 90. And we still couldn't knock out the Patriots to get in the damn playoffs. You're going to be kidding me. Final season stat. I mean, fuck, man, I want to win a rebuild. 3,700 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 9 picks for Sam Darnold. We got 1,000 yards for Weber there. In terms of receiving, no one broke 1,000. John Ross brought him in as a free agent. 500 yards on the... Oh, my God, man. 141 tackles for Perriman. 10.5 sacks for Richard. He was consistent throughout for picks. Jamal Adams a 3 to leave. I was a little bit worried about the speed. Still got 3 interceptions to his name. But, man... I don't know, fellas. Honestly, I don't know. You're telling me that this team is not good enough? Look at this. Is there a way we could see, like... Usually anyone over an 85 is good. Look at this. We got 4 90s. Like a big, young core of players. Like if you had to look at the downfall of this team, you could say the cornerbacks. But still, those aren't scrubs outside of Talib, Dawson. These guys are young. They can make plays. Linebacking core was solid. Defensive line was exceptional. Offensive line was definitely winnable. I'd say the average overall for our offensive line for the majority of this was like probably between 81 and 84. Wide receivers never really stood out too much. We had talent there. And when you have a fucking 90 overall QB, you'd expect to do something. So definitely not the way we wanted to start out rebuilds, but hopefully you were thoroughly entertained. Didn't even get to play. Didn't even get to pick up and use this team, which is maybe the most frustrating thing. But I would say right now, first rebuild, you guys asked me to do probably the toughest team you're going to see. And now we already have at least one of the prime candidates for us to do a rebuild revival and retry and try to make this damn Jets team Super Bowl winners. Or even playoff. We didn't make the playoffs once in 5 years. Thank you guys for watching the best rebuilds you're going to find on the YouTubes. If this is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment in the comment section below if there's any tweaking, anything different you may want to see me do that I haven't already. I think we made some improvements from last year's rebuilds. Smash the like button if you enjoyed it. For the first rebuild, I know we get a bunch of views, so maybe we break 1,000 likes on the video. I can't remember the last time I had a video that went over 1,000. That'd be dope as shit. Every Friday, rebuilds every single Friday. So let me know in the comment section below what team you want to see in rebuild number 2. And until next time, C4 saying peace